In this video, we're going to learn a little bit more about what is Transcendentalism for our class. So, what is Transcendentalism? Transcendentalism is an American literary, philosophical, spiritual, and political movement of the early 1800s, created by Ralph Waldo Emerson and his student Henry David Thoreau. Transcendentalism philosophy teaches that individuals need to transcend to a higher spiritual level. Individuals need to seek greatness and the essential truths of life through intuition and feelings, not material gains. And individuals should not conform to society but seek a connection to the universe and the world around them through nature. Now, this was a movement that was willing or is attempting to define what America truly was or is because of the revolution, right? America had to define what its culture was, and they started exploring what does it mean to be American. And these philosophers came up with these definitions that continue to this day as part of our American culture. So these 5 elements appear in transcendental writing and art. So one is nature. The other is the focus on the individual. Also intuition or feelings. Imagination was looked upon as something incredibly important. And also the concept of the oversoul, or that connectedness that we feel to one another. So for nature is larger than us and we are part of it. Nature helps us learn the nature of humans, or what it means to be a human and what it means to be an American, right? People are basically good when we're talking about individuals. The individual is also most important. So individual rights are way more important a lot of times than the group, even though the group is also very important. Intuition, their belief that intuition and feelings are important is because human senses are limited, because they only focus on the physical. Intuition and feelings help us understand deeper truths that may exist, deeper parts of what it means to be a person and an American. Imagination then paired along with intuition helps us beyond the physical. Imagination is important for us to become creative, to imagine what the future may be, imagine what we may do. Since America at the time was still new, coming up with what it was and what the future of a new country would be is important, and imagination helps that. All right, and lastly, oversoul. God, nature, humanity are united in the shared universal soul. So this is very similar to Buddhist belief or Hindu beliefs. And so they were looking at that as like, what is this like how we're connected as Americans? So what's the main thing that binds us together so we can have a shared vision of what it means and what the future holds? So very optimistic back in the day as America was new, and they were thinking about, well, where do we go from here now that the United States is a new country, and it's not the United Kingdom, it's not Great Britain, so we're trying to be separate from the English people and the British people. And then, so what can combine this? What can we do? Right? That concept of e pluribus unum, out of the many one, is where we get this concept where many people create one individual, which is who we are as American, the individual of America, and then also individuals by themselves. So reactions to Transcendentalism, many people adopted it. Some Americans embraced it. It inspired a revival of it in the 1960s and 70s with the hippie movement, the free love, all that stuff. They took a lot of the ideas of Transcendentalism and applied it to culture. So it's still with us today because of that revival. And then periodically it gets revived again and again. It also inspired the environmentalist movement in America, the desire to create state parks, the desire to protect our natural resources and because those things also are who we are as Americans. So they created communes. Before the concept of communism or socialism, they created group communities where all the money was shared and they wanted to be together. Now, some of those succeeded to some extent. Others just utterly failed because people became greedy and tried to take over. And that caused there to be a rejection of also transcendentalism for people who tried it and saw that because humans were flawed, that trying to create a utopia where we're all like one and everything is shared was very difficult. And they became the dark romantics or the anti-transcendentalists. This is something that we as a class will study later. But people who were strong as anti-transcendentalists would be like Edgar Allan Poe, who saw a lot of the dark nature of things, who invented crime fiction and true crime. That's Edgar Allan Poe, and he was against the Transcendentalists because he thought that that was too like imaginary, too far that they would take it, and it's not possible because humans are flawed and evil. Other person that saw that, participated in their Transcendentalist movement, would be Nathaniel Hawthorne, and we're going to study his stuff as well. And he was against it. He joined it for a little while, and when people started being greedy, he wanted his money back and he left. And so we will take a look at some of his writing that's in response to Transcendentalism too. And both are valid. Both are important to the development of our culture.